Well, well, well.
Well, well, well.
That's 6 wells. That one of like the last episode of The Office when Kevin gets fired and buys the bar, and Dwight walks in. He's like, "Well, well, well, well. That's 6 wells. Is that enough accounting for you, Dwight?"
There's another one. I can't remember what it's from, but the guy's like, well, well, well. That's 3 wells. I can't remember what it's from.
I think I know. I think I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember what it is.
I can't remember for some reason.
Damn, man, we start this. There's no one here yet. It was kind of short notice. Maybe if you were Phil, it wouldn't be a problem. Sorry, buddy.
Bad I'm not Phil.
Do better.
Well, I can try.
I'm kidding. Here we are. It's episode 205
205
of the Herpeticulture Podcast, the original founding show of the Herpeticulture Network, brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. You need a rack, you need a cage, you need a little bit of both. Look no further. Hit up BlackBox, shop around, check it out. Even if you're not necessarily in the market right now, at least go on the website, see what they have to offer, eyeball some stuff, kind of get an idea of what you might need. If you have any questions, please message the BlackBox page, send them an email.
They will
very quick, very quick to respond. So, and if you finally do decide on something when you go to checkout, use the code THN. Save yourself 10% off your order. And if you live in the general area of North Georgia, you can pick up. You don't even have to ship. Even more savings, and you just go grab it yourself. Right. Fully customizable as far as like the options that they offer. You can add LEDs, UV lights, heat panels. What else? Racks can come with casters or toe kicks. They have some hides that they make there with some of the excess PVC that I guess they use when they cut things. They take that and they make hides out of it, which I think is awesome. It's genius. Heat bulb fixtures, pretty much anything you could need across herpeticulture in terms of lighting and heating. There's an option there for it. So go check it out. Give them a follow on Facebook and Instagram as well. Then hop on over to Steve's Snaketuary, check out his Venom hot sauce, grab the whole set. Steve does a lot of good work with public outreach and things like that. He does, relocation, takes in some unwanted pets, herp-wise, rehabilitates them, gets them on the mend, and then finds new homes for them or uses them for education. Also does, again, relocations. He does a lot of public events where he's teaching people about snakes and how cottonmouths don't chase you. And in order to help fund the things he's doing, he has the whole lineup of Venom hot sauce. So if you go over to stevesnaketuary.com, check it out, get them all. You won't regret it.
Not a bit.
Then Fulvius Apparel, that's where the 15% off is. And that's when you use the code THN at checkout. That is an exclusive 15% off just for THN listeners and viewers like you. Not enough people use it, man. It's there. It's year round. It ain't like a limited time offer kind of thing. It is like that is cemented in the hookup. Like that's there.
Got to do it, man. I mean, take advantage of it. It's only for people who listen to this. So, I mean, if you don't use it, you're missing out.
Yeah. I'm trying to. So I got a ton of orders to go out. I got the last bit of the Black Friday sale stuff that people bought. Sending out some more packages tomorrow, and then I've got, I think, 2 more orders where I printed on the wrong size shirt, so I have to order those and get them in, and then I will have them out. But unfortunately, I'm off work tomorrow, so they won't be going out until probably Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. It depends on what UPS is looking like. Things have been backed up a little bit on the UPS front, where we typically get our orders through our distributor. We get them next day if it's coming from the Jacksonville warehouse, because this business we use, they have warehouses all over the country, literally. Closest one for us is Jacksonville. We try to order from that one as much as possible, but normally it's overnight when we're ordering from Jacksonville. But the last couple days it's been like a 2-day thing. So instead of getting them next day, we're getting them the day after that. So it's been a little frustrating because there's some things like replacement things for actual like other orders, not Fulvius related, where we have to keep kind of delaying getting replacements in because they're not showing up. So these orders continue to be waiting for one more item that we have to finish and get done. And it's frustrating, but it is what it is. It's that time of year.
Yeah, it's the season, man. Everything's taking a little longer right now.
Yeah.
So
That it is. I didn't plug my computer in. It's about to die. Whoa. Tell them about the new setup.
yeah, so I am podcasting from home now, and if anybody watches this, you will see I actually have a microphone and headphones now. I actually grew up, decided to be a big boy and get myself a laptop because I have not had one since college, and that one is very, very old. So finally got a little bit of an upgrade, and thanks to donations from Sir Smith, we
Being
got.
a hoarder has its perks.
Yes, it does.
Not throwing anything away.
So thanks to him, he gave me a mic, a stand,
Dude, I didn't give you any of that. That's been podcast stuff since day one. So I'm like, obviously, when you need that, I'm like, take it.
Well, I appreciate it, man. So got a little house set up now to be able to record a little higher quality from the house. Even though I prefer to do it from Smitty's place, it is a bit of a drive. Gas is not cheap. So I like to be able to do this a little higher quality from the house, and down the pipeline we might have something new coming up.
Oh,
So we're gonna keep that on the down low in the meantime, but this will help out a lot when
make
that
that
comes
thing a
to.
mummy. Keep it under wraps.
Yeah. So did you just come up with these things, or like
Yeah.
I feel like you just keep like random sayings in your back pocket for these moments.
Sometimes I'll think of them and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna save that one.
But
Put
yeah,
that in the fridge and sit on it.
yeah. So yeah, that's what we're working with now. Pretty excited. How are the yellows doing? I assume you're referring to the babies. If you're referring to the babies, they're doing fantastic. Excuse me, I just ate. I'm all full. Well,
Gross.
try not to burp on this microphone. But yeah, the babies are doing fantastic. They literally all just ate again the other day. They eat perfectly every time. Tongs drop, don't matter. I've been drop feeding a lot recently because it takes forever to tong feed everything, and they like to drop their food whenever I tong feed and go to close the lid. So I've been drop feeding them, but yeah, they're all doing awesome. If you're referring to anything else, really everybody's doing great, man. Hopefully more yellows on the ground this coming season. So really excited about all that. But I have a ton of yellow rats now. So
Yeah, you do.
I've actually got a pair of the babies are going with me to Florida tomorrow to go to Preston.
Oh,
So that's cool. Um, yeah, less mouths is always a good thing. But yeah,
very nice.
so on that topic, if anybody else is interested in baby Pasco County yellow rats, only ones in the country, probably, because they're yellow rats.
Unless you're in Pasco County and just happen to see one.
Yeah, yeah, only captive bred ones. I don't know if anybody else working with a specific locality. So if anybody's interested, I still have a couple pairs. They're all ready to go, other than the ones I'm keeping, obviously. So if anybody's interested, let me know. I also have Santa Rosa County baby white oak gray rats. So those are all males though, because Sausage Fest.
Yeah.
On 2 clutches.
I,
Insane.
it's that whole scenario. We hear that, see that so often with a lot of people where they'll get a clutch and it'll be like a sizable clutch and be like, yeah, there were 3 females out of, 13 eggs. It's like, I gotta wonder, like, that just seems awfully consistent to be random, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's like there has to be something to it. I don't know.
yeah, I don't get it, man. Like this was I had the first clutch was 14 and I got 11.3. Then the second clutch was 5 or 6. I can't remember off the top of my head. Uh,
Count them up.
it was 5. It was 5, and all 5 were males. So I don't get it. But whatever. Beggars can't be choosers.
They're here now. It don't matter.
Yeah, it
Damage
don't
is
matter.
done.
So, bunch of quite a few people, not quite a few. I mean, I've sold a few, gave a buddy one. So they're slowly but surely going out the door. But they make awesome pets. They're really cool. Pretty docile too for rat snakes for the most part. Jack just got his. Jack was down here. Jack Oliver was down here last weekend, and he picked.
Yeah, I'm bummed I didn't get to see him.
Yeah, he was just down here for. I mean, he was down here for the week, but he was only in Beaver
Right,
for the
right.
day. So we went fishing, had a great time, and he came back and checked out the collection, the new room set up, and he picked up a baby for him, and he also picked one up for our buddy Zach. And Jack sent me, or he posted a picture and a video of his today, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I wasn't expecting to like these more than my yellows, but here we are." It's like, yeah. But I was like, "You only like him because it's not biting you," and he was like, "Yeah, kind of."
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, they're cool. They're fun little snakes.
When are you putting? You're putting stuff into cooling here soon, right?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna wait till January, and I'm actually just gonna.
For some reason, I thought you were doing like December and then warming in January, but
No, I try to do it in January because I know it's gonna stay cold. I know in December it just will have random warm days. I am doing it a little differently this year, though. The pits I'm gonna put in the garage. I don't know why my brain wants me to make them colder, but I do, and I am. So the adult pits are going in the garage, but other than that, I'm gonna cool my entire room down to about the mid 60s, maybe right at 70. And just let it rock for about a month and just cool the entire room because it'll help the carpet cycle as well because I'm hoping to actually get baby carpets this year. Um, so it'll help the carpet cycle, and then for most everything I keep southeastern, so I don't think they need a huge temp drop. So I'm going to cut them off food and drop them down a good 10-15 degrees for about a month and rock and roll. So.
Well, I started cooling stuff last weekend,
Nice.
just in time for this nice cold snap that we've had to come into play.
Yeah,
and us getting to mid 30s in the last 2 nights. Not as cold tonight, but had my eye on that Govee in the garage pretty hardcore in the mornings and stuff, just making sure it didn't get too cold for too long. What I figured out is that the garage is pretty consistent in staying at about 10 degrees warmer than whatever it is outside. So,
really?
It'll be 35 outside, but for whatever reason, even with the garage door and it's not even sealed really, like there's plenty of air like there's a lot of airflow still through the garage door and stuff and the way it's set up. So, even with that, it still stays, a solid 10 degrees warmer than the outside. So while it was 35 the last 2 nights, it's been about 45 in the garage. And then We've actually been getting pretty decent swings though, because like the highs, it would be 35 for a low, but then we'd have a high like 60.
Yeah,
So
but
it's really,
I do think that's a good thing about your garage being insulated. At least if you keep that door closed, it should keep in that cold pretty well throughout the day. Should it not?
I mean, it seems to
Hold.
warm up and still, if it doesn't, the garage isn't getting 70 when it's 60 out. I've noticed.
Right.
It's just when
Yeah.
it gets colder, it seems to do well at
Right.
keeping things just
Yeah.
where I want them to.
Because I fed all my snakes today, and my freezer's in the garage, and I went in there to pull out all my feeders, and it was colder in the garage than it was outside at that point. And I was like, well, god dang. So
Yeah, man. Again, like I know we talk about them a lot, but those govies, dude.
I really need to get
Those things just I it was something that when I saw them, I was like, would I really actually use that? And I don't even remember who it was that had mentioned them initially. It may have been Ian Bissell. I think he did an article on them in the magazine. Who was it? I don't remember exactly, but I remember looking into them and I was like, oh, okay, those are pretty cheap. Let me give them a whirl, and I found myself just playing with them constantly. Putting them in cages, putting them in perch spots, hot spots, cool ends, like close to the ceiling in the room, close to the floor in the room, like all over the place, just seeing sort of exactly what's going on across the board, and it gives you such a good idea of what's happening in a given zone. That at this point, I mean, I have a freaking army of them. I keep them on hand, even if I'm not using them. They're still, I'll still place them in various places around the room if I'm not actively using them in a cage or something. And then I can just hop on the app pretty much anywhere from the house too, which has been really surprising. I talked about it a little bit Monday night, but like the range of the Bluetooth on those things is actually really impressive. Like I can be sitting on the front porch and get the Bluetooth reading from the one in the snake room, which is like across the house.
Nice.
I mean, that's a fair distance, and for such a small device, you wouldn't think that they would have a range that was all that great, but they're very very good. So
yeah, I really want to get some, mainly for the room and like cooling in the garage, because in the room I have a thermometer in the room, but it's old, and it's just some cheap one from Walmart.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate it is. It's been semi good based on.
Is it digital or analog?
It's digital.
Oh, okay. No.
So it's been pretty good based on like my heat, what I shoot with my heat gun,
Mm-hmm.
and then reading that. But I really want to put some like, in the corner right here to my left, back of the room, other side of the room, and get a better feeling for how the entire room is heating up, because I've got, there's animals surrounding me now, and I really want to get proper temperatures on everything.
Yeah, they've it's been helpful with that radiant heater that I got too, and trying to get that sort of dialed into the sweet spot to where I can leave it on during the day and it doesn't get too warm with the heat on in the house, but still keep the room sort of where I want it to at night when the temp drops. So that's been a little tough kind of figuring that out, but with that Govee, I mean, I can see how warm it is up there on those top shelves and things where I do have some of the smaller corns in the temporary tubs, kind of like the red lidded ones that you've got behind you. I've got like 4 stacks of those with some of those hypo babies. So those being kind of what I'm most concerned about in terms of it being too hot. That's where I have a Govee, is up there up high. Everything else I'm really not all that worried about. The rhinos don't care. If anything, the rhinos, prefer it to be cooler like that. Same with the percentum or co-rulum, whatever you want to call them. And it's made me, the cooler temperatures have definitely made me a little more apprehensive to feed the corns and bairds and stuff, just because I'm worried that it's going to be too much. But now that I think we're kind of getting back to a normal South Carolina weather temperature, being lows in the upper 40s, low 50s, it's not as much of an issue. And now that we've actually turned the heat on too, finally, so it's been staying consistently warm. So now I'm not as concerned about it. But
yeah, that's how I The way I run my rooms, I actually keep my vent closed in here, like from the main house, AC and heat year round. I control everything solely on my, you know, my radiant heater in here, the oil filled one. Um, it's just easier, you know. The summer months, the AC will be blasting and the doors closed. It gets cold in here, and then
Mm-hmm.
winter rolls around. We have the heat low, then it gets really cold in here, and so it's easier just to run everything based off this heater. Even in the summer, I have it on, you know, because it will get, you know, it won't stay as warm as I want it to in here. So I'll even have it. I have had it on last as long as I've lived here. It's been plugged in and
Mm-hmm.
running. So it's, you know, it works great. I love it, man. I just come in every day and look at the thermostat or the thermometer and adjust as needed. You know, and I also don't like. I know a lot of people like use thermostats on their heaters, and that's, you know, that's fantastic if you do it. But personally, I like a little fluctuation. You know, if it gets a little colder at night, it doesn't bother me. You know, I like it. You know, just a natural fluctuation in the room for the animals. So I just kind of rock with it and adjust as needed. You know, I'm in here pretty often, so I just check it out, you know, a couple times a day, make sure we're rocking good. And I came in here and my thermometer was reading 81, and I was like, let's turn it down just a
Mm-hmm.
little.
Yeah, if anything, I would put it on something that would just shut it off until it hit,
Yeah,
you know, however warm I wanted it to get, and then kick back on whenever it dropped. You know, set it to a decent range to where it's not on and off all day long, constantly. You know, but
yeah,
enough of a
yeah,
swing to do its
and
job.
yeah, and that's how mine is. Like, it's not off and on all day. It's just set at a temperature and it stays. And so we were talking about the little two knob thing. I just looked at mine, and I've got my like numbered knob set on two, and then I adjust the other one accordingly.
Yeah, we figured that out because we looked them up on Snakes and Stogies Monday night, and the 1 through 3 is the wattage, so it goes from like 600,
Uh,
1200, and then I think 1500 watts, and then the dial above that is the thermostat as far as like how hot you want it to get. Assuming you're using the higher wattage for the, you know, depending on the room size is what you determine the wattage is for. I guess I don't know for sure, but yeah, my room not being very big, it does not take much to get that thing rocking and rolling, man.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Even in here, man, I just
yeah.
got one heater, and it does wonders. I could probably get this room up to 90 degrees if I wanted.
Hmm. Something else I did too last night is, so the babies that I've from this year, you know, a lot of those hypo corns and some Baird's babies and stuff. Not the rhinos, but the colubrid babies. I switched them over from being on paper towel onto Aspen, which I think I would think in theory that would sort of help insulate things a little more. Um, it's just like we're at a point now where I don't ship from like mid-November until like mid-January. I don't bother shipping anymore. So
Even then, man, I don't like shipping in January just because it's so damn cold. You know, like
nah, it depends on where they're going and depends on what it is. If it's like the Diones or something, they'll be fine. They don't care. Those things get into ridiculously cold
yeah,
temperatures and
yeah,
they're fine. But um yeah, so I mean they're gonna be here for a while. So I was like, let me go ahead and just set them up with some real bedding. Um and
I,
now dude, I was like switching those things over there last night. I was going through each tub and I'm like, damn, that one's nice. That one's nice. That one's real nice. That one's nice. And so it's like I don't even want to get rid of any of them anymore. Like, it's like crap,
yeah. That's how it
dude.
goes, man. I was picking out. I actually still have to actually decide. I was picking out which yellows were going to go to Preston. And one of the ones I was originally going to offer for sale, like, just shed, and I was like, "Ugh," like, oh my god. So I think I'm actually gonna give him my my original whole bag yellow from that clutch, just because as everybody is shed, it's just like the other ones are turning out even,
Yeah,
man. So I'm like,
that's kind of the I guess the great and horrible thing with those colubrid babies and stuff, man, is like
yeah,
they just get better, and it's my God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard, man. I just want to keep them all. Like, dude, that gray rat that Jack got. Oh my God, dude. I was like, the only reason I didn't keep it was because the only female I kept, because I only had 3 and I had to sell at least a couple pairs. The only female I kept, there was one male that matched her just perfectly, and I was like, well, I got to keep that one. Then I kept another male because I just want to see how it turns out. But then there's other male that Jack got is just absolutely screaming. And I was like, I can't keep this many males.
But that is sort of why it's like those are the best people to have those animals go
exactly.
to, because it's like you still have access to those animals' genetics, down the
Yeah.
line if you wanted to, assuming that they hold on to them long
Yeah.
term. So it's like it's not a bad problem.
No,
I know a
that's why.
couple guys where they'll take specific projects for things and put it in the hands of their friends, and basically be like, when you produce more of these, like, give me some, like, send me some back. And it's
Yeah.
like that's kind of the perfect way to handle sort of multiple projects, but not actually have to take up space in your own room to do it. Like, you're still splitting things with people. Obviously, it's not like they're doing all the work for nothing. But it's wise to, for some stuff that you don't want to get rid of it entirely and send it off to, into the abyss to a random person, but you're sending it off to someone you trust, someone that can carry that project. And
Yeah. And that's exactly what I told Jack. I was like, don't sell it. If you want to get rid of it, let me know. I'll take them back. And I was like, but down the road, if I ever want to use them, I might hit you up, especially with Jack being, in the state, it's he's relatively
yeah,
easy to get a hold of. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that thing turns out, man. It was honestly probably the nicest one of the
really.
clutch. Yeah, it was really, really nice. But that clutch had so much variety, and it's also like I love paying attention to, like, whenever you think of yellow rats, you think of a mustardy yellow snake with stripes on it, but as babies, man, you hatch a bunch of them out and you notice all these like little freaking details
Nuances,
on
yeah.
every single one of them, man. Like, there's some in the gray rats, some were darker, some were lighter, some have these blown out saddles, that just look really, really cool. The yellows, some are like this really light colored with like this like washed out look in the saddles that looks really nice. And then some are just like dark, super, super dark, almost brown right now, and I'm like, what are they going to look like? What's going to be the difference as adults? So I'm keeping a pair of lighter colored ones and I'm keeping a pair of darker colored ones to see how they kind of develop, And,
Yeah, every year that seems to be the issue that I have, is like I want to hold on to stuff, but then it's the sort of the paradox of breeding, is like you want to hold on to things, but then you also remember that they take up space, they take up time, they take up food. Because that's something I do regret, sort of, with that first chondro clutch, was not holding back more than what I did, which I still have one animal from that original clutch. But I wish I had held on to at least probably 2 more. But at the time, it was like I wanted to diversify sort of the portfolio with chondros and get a little more stuff in, some stuff that wasn't Beox necessarily, just kind of, have other things sort of in the mix for down the road. And so I ended up trading a lot of babies for other babies from people, and that worked great for that clutch. And I still have almost all of those, pretty much all those animals. And so I have a really nice core group to kind of work with. Probably, I think I'll be hitting chondros a little harder this time next year, because I'll have some. I've tried some of the smaller stuff, nothing seems to be happening. So I think by this time next year, they'll definitely have a little more size on them. I think they'll be a little more primed. Most of them will be in the 5-year range, 6-year range. So we're gonna give it a shot then. But I regret, but I also don't, not holding on to more of those. And that's kind of what I this year with the corns and things like that. It was like, okay, well, if I see some that really seem to catch my eye for whatever reason, I'll hold on to it. That's the nice thing is it's a hold back. You don't have to hold on to it forever. So don't be in a rush to part with things. Give them a little time to sort of shed a few times, see if it's kind of going the direction you want it to, and then kind of go from there. So it's just been, it's been tough. And then as they continue to shed this whole entire clutch of hypos, it's like I want to hold on to all of them. I don't want to get rid of any of them.
Yeah. I'm like that, especially like the rat snakes. I had so many, I kind of had to push as many as I could, like, right off, as soon as they were going, kind of thing. But with like popwin carpets, dude, I held on to, God, I don't know, almost the entire clutch for a long time, like 2 years, something like that, to see how they develop.
Yeah, but I mean, some of that stuff you have to. You don't have a choice.
Yeah,
Chondros are a prime
yeah.
example.
Exactly,
I
man.
know.
Like, you don't know, because like next thing you know, you're gonna sell one, and it's gonna turn out to be this super unique animal that turns black and blue. Like it's crazy. And I think chondros are even more of an example
It's
of
much
that.
more of a commitment
Yeah,
time wise.
yeah, and once, but yeah, and that, because that's the other thing with popwins. You'll get kind of the general look after about a year and a half. You're kind of good to know. They'd obviously color up a lot as they, approach that 3-4 year old mark. Like I still have, the first snake I produced back in 2019 for my first clutch. I only have one animal from that clutch left. And still, there's times I open the tub and it looks like a completely different snake. I'm like, oh my God, and so it's wild, man. Speaking of those, did you see that male I put on my story the other day?
Yes,
Dude,
I believe I did.
ridiculous. So
I might be getting yours mixed up with Skylar's because Skylar's been posting a good bit of them lately too.
let me message it to you real quick. I don't know if you can put it on the screen or not. I mean, this thing was just
I'll pull it up.
ridiculous, dude. I opened up his tub and I was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, dude, just really, really, really happy with him and how he's come along. Oh man, that's a good looking corn.
Hold on, it's trying to open.
Is that corn you sent me one of yours?
No, we'll get into that in a second.
Oh.
Let me open this here. Because of snakes and stogies, I've kind of like given up on trying to open these things while they're open in Messenger, and so now I just download them and open them in preview because it just works better.
Yeah.
Facebook's the devil. Oh, let's see here. Shares.
And by the way, hello to everyone that has popped into the chat.
Ivory and Sean and Brenda and Alan.
Yeah.
Meteoric.
Yes, sir. Just electric, man.
Boogie, woogie, woogie.
Very, very pleased with how he has turned out. And it's funny, I actually picked him from like the start, just from as a baby, how he looked, as a red little neonate. And I knew he would color up nicely. And he's blown me out of the water with all the yellow, the cream colors, and that he's got a perfect little like quarter stripe down the back of him. And he's wicked. He also, what you can't see in this picture, he actually has perfect arrows like on his neck.
Oh yeah, I remember that one now.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wicked, man. So I'm hoping. I thought about trying to, he's pretty small, but he's probably old enough to breed, but he's definitely not big enough. I want him to go back to mom, so hopefully that'll happen in about 2 years.
Nice.
So shoot for some
Some
really
very
high yellows.
Darwin-y colors.
Yeah, it's just yellows, man. So I'm shooting for golden yellow poplins. Let's see if
Golden Boy carpets.
Oh man, I should have named him Golden Boy. That's a good
Mm.
name. That's a good name. No, that is Contagion. Oh man, you got my room all blown out now.
Yeah, I'll give it a second. It'll go back to normal.
Yeah.
Hmm?
What is that?
This. I close this window. Yeah. I don't know. You're just staring at me like a creep. What? Because you're staring at me. You are. No. I don't know if you heard any of that exchange. This is a Spring Island corn.
It's like that's a normal, or is that a like one of the Sunkissed?
No, that's an F1.
What?
Yeah.
Is that one you're getting from Tony?
Yes.
Dude, does he have any more?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Damn it.
He replenishes the population.
Oh yeah.
Out there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you just getting one, or are you getting a pair?
Okay, she's gone now. Yes, I'm getting a pair. This is one of them. I don't know if it's the male or the female, but I mean, come on.
As a baby, dude.
Like,
as a baby,
I am fully convinced at this point that Spring Island corns,
nicest corns in the world,
nicest corns,
yeah,
bar none. I wish I had a picture handy of adults because they're just insane. Oh, you do, don't you?
I can get you one. Yeah, hold up, give me a second because I'm gonna crop out his name because I don't know if he.
But imagine that with Castagna. Oh,
hold up. Yeah, dude. Imagine it with Castagna. Jesus Christ. All right, let me just crop this picture real quick. See, that's the other good thing about this setup now is I can get on my phone and do things like send you pictures. I mean, dude, that picture I sent you, dude. Just.
Oh, side note. Do you have any interest in, I believe it's an adult female hog?
Just like a normal?
I think it's just a normal. I don't know yet.
Why and who from?
So I have a coworker whose son somehow ended up with a Western. I think he worked at like an apartment complex or something, and one of the tenants that had just sort of upped and left this hog nose, and he had always wanted a snake, so he ended up keeping it and getting all this stuff for it and whatnot. And apparently now he's had it for a while, but he's like, every time I try to touch it, or handle it, it like hisses and strikes and does the, made me laugh a little bit because I was like, yeah, it's hog noses. So he's basically asked her to ask me that if I wanted it. I was like, sure. I mean, if I don't, I don't have any real plans to get back into hogs, but I was like, surely between you and Baron and some of the other peeps, somebody will. So it sounds like they said it's big, so I'm assuming it's a female.
Yeah, if it's
big,
say it
was small,
definitely a female.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it, because if it's a unique looking normal, I mean, I might could plug it into my normal project, but
I mean, I
If it's
figured.
that big, I don't really have a ton of space. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I got a whole XR rack, but I don't really want to stick an adult. Well, I might have a slot point.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
Yeah.
I was like, again, I don't have a massive, desire to get to hogs again, but figured someone would have an interest. Ooh.
Dude,
See, I mean, like I understand that
on.
Spring Island is not far from Okatee and Jasper and the Hunt Club.
It's not the same, man.
It's just not the same, and I don't
It's
like.
not the same.
I just find me something in Jasper and Okatee proper that will be this. Just I don't like. There's orange, but these almost have more like a red tint to them. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but they're not as like bright orange. It's much more of a blended reddish orange. And I mean those saddles, like mother of God.
You got to put sunglasses on to look at that.
I know it hurts. My retinas are burning.
I was actually supposed to get that snake. I don't know what happened with that, but yeah, it's a buddy of mine.
Yeah, it was just crazy nice.
Yeah, dude. I mean, just ridiculous.
And I've been meaning to like. I've had this pair set aside for me for a while now. It's just one of those things where me and Tony just haven't gotten together about it. We keep testing each other about it, and we're like, hey, you want to meet up sometime? Yeah, let's do it. And then 3 months later, hey. Yeah. So, and we played phone tag yesterday. He called me, and I didn't have my phone on vibrate. It was on silent, so I didn't see it, and I didn't pick up. Then I called him back. He didn't answer, and then I called him this morning, and he didn't answer. So, he's a busy guy. So, whatever.
He's a very busy guy. Whenever I go inspect the construction sites on Spring Island, I see him occasionally riding around. I always want to like stop. Like, hey man, Jake, I don't know if you remember me.
Remember me?
He's a legend, man.
Yeah, we need to come spring. Is that when they do? Is that controlled burn season?
No, controlled burn season.
Or is that fall?
Just ended. Yeah.
Okay.
People might still be burning, but it's normally you want to do it around a dry season.
Why?
So stuff burns.
Yeah, but like you could just as easily stuff could catch on fire in the spring.
I mean, yeah, but people do controlled burns in the cooler months.
It would make more sense to do it in spring because then it's less likely to catch everything on fire and more of just what you want.
Yeah, but it's harder to get things to catch on fire.
You can get anything to catch on fire with gasoline
because everything's wet. No, you do it with like a drip torch. Look, man.
I
used to do these things.
The hell's a drip torch?
It's
like a flamethrower.
Yeah, basically, it's a can of diesel fuel, and it's got this stem on it that does a little loop-de-loop, and you light the wick at the end of it, and it stays lit, and then you hold it down, and it drops little flame balls as you walk, and you can just make like a line of fire. It's a whole process.
At a ring.
Yeah, I've actually been caught in a ring.
Just like Johnny Cash.
Yeah. There's actually I actually hate controlled burns. Like they're very good for the environment. I just hate doing them. They stress me out a lot. I used to, because I worked on the plantation, we did a few controlled burns, and I was just the backpack blower guy. So if a fire got out, I had to run over there and put the fire out so we didn't burn up the whole fucking woods. And I remember one time my boss looked at me, he gave me the drip, and he was like, "Just
you're a man now."
He's like, "Walk that way until you see the big dead tree." And I was like, "Tony, there's a lot of big dead trees out here." He's like, "Just walk that way like 100 yards." And I was like, "Okie dokie."
That does not narrow it down.
Yeah, no. And I told him about this dead tree one time that caught on fire as a snag, and it was burning on the inside. And I was like, "Hey man, there's a tree up there. We drove by it, and he's like, "Oh no, it'll be fine." I was like, "I'm pretty sure it's gonna fall outside the the burn line." He's like, "No, it'll be all right." I said, "Okay." Next morning, I come in. He's like, "Yep." So I was up at 3 a.m. putting out a fire because that tree fell over. I was like, "Nobody wants to
Yep,
listen to the college kid."
What would you know?
Yeah, what do I know? Yeah.
Well, now that we are in the cold season, what are you planning for next year in terms of pairings and herpings and
Oh man,
trips?
there's a lot of stuff kind of on the docket, man. So I guess as far as pairings go, um, carpets are going to be one I'm going to try again. I struck out last year with carpets. They bred. I got a clutch, but they were all slugs. So that sucked. But I've been feeding up my female a lot recently, and
You know what's wild
what's that?
is you might have carpets go again for real this time, and I may have chondros go again for real. And it's like
Blast from the past.
neither of us are going to be successful unless we're both trying at the same time with the same things. So maybe
that's what it takes.
it'll be in our favor this round.
Yeah, we can do a repeat at 2K19, baby. Oh man. But yeah, so those are first on the docket, I guess. I'm actually gonna start pairing those up semi soon ish. Then colubrids are gonna be going down here soon. Albino pines are gonna get paired up. That's probably my most hopeful pairing. I really want to produce those.
Yeah, see, we should have Tony on just to talk about those.
Yeah.
Because clearly he's got it figured out. Sounds like THP Carpondros in a few years.
No, definitely not.
I'm not like against it.
I'm not against it. I think they look wicked. I think they are wicked looking animals. It's just not my thing, Like I think they're super fucking cool looking. Really unique animals. It's just I don't want to cross different county animals, let alone different species.
Like that would be something where it'd be like 1 year I'd be like, all right,
fuck it.
I got a male chondro with no one on the agenda for him. Maybe Jake will let me borrow a carpet, and we'll do it just to say we did it, just for funsies. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. It's not very high on my to-do list, but that's why I like what Billy does with his, where he still has his carpet projects and he keeps those solely focused on that. But then he's like, look, I got a spare female, got a spare male. See what happens. Let's roll the dice.
Make something happen.
That's right.
But as far as a ping pong, as far as plans for a Pituophis related episode, I actually we are due for one. I tried to set one up a while back with a very popular gentleman, and I never heard back. So.
I was talking, I don't know, maybe we're not talking about the same person. I don't know. I'm going to try again for one person we had talked about.
I tried two. One of them straight up said no. That was a long time ago. Then just like a couple months ago, I hit up another guy. Both of them very, very popular in Pituophis community. I messaged him on Instagram, and he just never responded. I didn't even read it as far as I can see. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try him on Facebook and see what's up. But yes, I've been trying to get a Pituophis episode together again.
What, like, for those that are asking for that, like, what in particular with pits though are we wanting? Because I feel like there's enough directions there to where it's easy to do a pit episode, but it not be focused solely on a particular group.
I would just do it on any and all, basically. Get somebody that's really deep into the morph side, because normally Pituophis guys, they're not just morph related. Normally Pituophis guys have a bunch of morphs, but they also work with some locality stuff like northerns and maybe some southerns. I know the guys that I have hit up were kind of both, and that's normally how Pituophis guys go. So I would like to cover a little bit of everything with it, but I am curious to hear what other people
Well, I
think.
mean, there's stuff that's a little more nuanced, like Chris and I have had a few episodes of Corn Stars where we with Eric Westmoreland on, where we sort of veered off into Pituophis discussion and talked about Lineaticolis and
I really want to do Lineaticolis episode, but the issue with that is there's not a lot of people keeping them, and there's even less people breeding them.
the vertebralis that Chris has been doing stuff with. There's just, that's what I mean when there's so much sort of directions you can go with it, just between the stuff out west and the stuff in our area and the stuff up north. Like, there's a lot of ground to cover there. So if we have sort of a more focused, like if people have specific questions about specific types of pits or something that they want covered, then that'd be helpful.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we just get Chris on again for a pit episode.
I'd like to get another.
I would too.
Corn Stars episode in before the end of the year.
Yeah,
because we're approaching that the last half of December. We don't record. We take that time off just because everyone's busy. But Chris has been kind of AWOL lately. He's been busy with work, I'm sure. Yeah. He kind of goes through phases where he'll just take a break from socials and stuff, and you won't hear from him for a bit, and then he pops back up like a gremlin.
That's why if I need him, I just text that fool. I probably got his number now, so I'm like, I'm texting your ass. You ain't getting away from me that easy.
Well, last year we did like the Corn Stars draft where we, he and I and Alex Horvath talked about, went over our pairings for next season and sort of got opinions from each other on what they think we should do with certain animals or certain pairings or switch things up. It was fun. I enjoyed doing that. It's cool. Alex has a really good eye for that kind of stuff. So
nice. Well, back on the original question. Pair poplins, albino pines, hopefully albino Floridas. Which, dude, I had my mail out the other day, and he's just massive. I mean,
it's like every time you open the tub, they're bigger.
Bigger, man. I swear, dude. You haven't seen him in a while, like in person. This dude's like pushing 6 foot. He's as tall, he's as long as I am tall, if not longer.
I believe it.
He's huge. And then so hopefully them, and then more on the Pituophis front. Hopefully the Brewster County fork line gophers go. I'm pretty confident in those. I got a lock last year, but I think I was late on the draw. I think pits in general, you got to pair kind of quick right after cooling, not just the Southerns or Floridas, whatever. So hopefully I can get some Pituophis on the ground. I would absolutely love to produce some pits. I hit the mark with rats last year, missed on pits, so those are next on the dock to cross off a species I've bred. As far as rat snakes are concerned, I'm looking over here right now. Apalachicola grays are going to be paired up. I might end up pairing my Santa Rosas again, just because the females put on a good bit of weight, and she looks natural size. You know what I mean? She's not big, but she's not skinny. So I might pair those up again. I don't know. I just kind of got to see
natural size. That's a good way to put it.
She's not. I was talking to Chris Montross today, and I sent him a picture. I was like, would you breed her like this? He was like, she looks natural size, not captive size. Yep. So I was like, well, that makes me feel a little bit better about it, So I might pair them up. I don't know. I don't know. It's either going to be this year on, next year off, or just wait till next year. I'm not sure. So maybe those yellow rats pairing up Seminole County yellows, which I'm super excited
Is that
about.
Rico?
No, no,
What
no.
is Rico?
Rico's a Hernando.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm pairing up Seminoles, which I'm super, super excited about because I'm their locality, but I'm also trying a lying breeding thing with those. See how that turns out. If I get babies from the pairing that I put together, I'm not selling any of them until I see how they turn out. Um, so really, really excited about those. Rico is going to get put with a snake. I honestly don't know if it's a female, a probed female, but I look at the tail screams male to me, but the probe doesn't lie. So it should be, it might be a girl, but again, but so the size of the tail says male to me. The size of the snake says female because it's on the smaller side, and I've had it since May, and it has not shed once.
Oh, is it
So
that one?
yeah, so I'm kind of guessing it's an older female that's just on the smaller side. I don't know. So because actually now I'm thinking about it, that my Pasco female hasn't shed in a really long time either. So I mean, it could just be an older rat snake thing. I don't know. So I'm just gonna put him in with and see what happens. If they're two males, then if no harm, no foul, and I'll
And
wait.
Rico may still try.
Yeah, Rico might try, man, because he wants it, man. He's ready. So I'm gonna throw them together and just see what happens. What else? I think that's it for rat snakes. And then the water snakes might end up going. I don't know.
Which ones?
The citruses.
Yeah.
I keep a trio of those together, and the big female is getting to that point of like
Hmm.
she could probably go. So I'm
How
just
long
gonna.
is the gestation on those, though?
I want to
It's a while,
say
isn't it?
no. I want to say it's about 3 months.
Sound about right.
Basically what it would be from when a rat snake is gravid to laying eggs to hatching. I want to say it's about the same amount of time,
Hmm.
because they don't lay eggs, but it's about the same,
Right.
about 90 days ish. I don't know, might push into 100. So I actually saw them when I came home from Daytona. I found them locked up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which kind of threw me off. So I don't know. There's a male in with two girls. If they go, my hands are going to be full because I love my
It's a
water
lot of little
snakes.
worms.
I love my water snakes, but my God, they are a handful. So
I don't know.
uh,
The citruses seem pretty
today they
mellow
weren't.
compared to
Today
the others.
today they were not.
No.
No, not today. Usually they are. It kind of depends. They're very food oriented right now, and especially the male. He's fucking moody, man. I think it's more so if food's in the air.
Yeah.
Once food's in the air, they go nuts, dude.
Hmm.
They're all over the place. The male literally flew out of the enclosure with a mouse in its mouth today. He bit me a couple times. It's nuts. But I can, once I calm them down, I can pull them out and handle them, and they're good.
Hmm.
My Dixie County banded is honestly one of the most calm snakes in my collection. That one you handled when
Yeah.
it was either Jack or Matt, I don't know. But she's super, super chill. She's one of my favorite snakes. So I don't know. I'm really excited for the Dixies to get up to size because those are just really awesome animals. The male's a little asshole, but female's cool. She just got an upgrade this week. She got upgraded to a B35. So yeah, I think that's everything for this year. Yeah, I don't know. if everything goes, it'll by far be my biggest season by a long shot. So we'll see.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. That's why I may end up just letting the Santa Rosas go. Wait till next season. Let the female put on some regular weight and be ready for next year. As far as herp trips, I'm actually leaving to go on one tomorrow. Kind of a herp trip / bring snakes to Preston / hang out with the boys kind of thing. Don't have super high hopes for herps, but we're definitely going to try.
I mean, it's Florida. You never know.
It's going to be 80 degrees all weekend. At least, the daytime high is. So we're going to give it the old college try and see if we can't get on some herps. Other trips, I know we're both planning to go to Francis Marion in April on a trip with several people. Really looking forward to that. Also hoping to do a South Florida trip next year with the same dudes I'm seeing tomorrow. That would be awesome. Then really hoping to get out to Harry's neck of the woods next year.
Yeah.
Really try and make that a thing. But I know life for him has gotten a little hectic, even more so recently. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I mean that's kind of there's all kinds of stuff I want to do. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But I know there's going to be at least 2 for sure in 24, and that's the South Florida. I'm making that happen, and then the April trip with everybody. Mm-hmm. So those are for sure. And of course, Daytona is
obviously
already booked. So yeah, that's there.
That's the one where like I come back from that weekend and I go straight to the office and say I need this weekend off next year.
Yeah.
The countdown begins.
Yep. Every year, man. Ain't no missing Daytona. That's for sure.
Never. There's been a couple years where I almost wasn't able to go. Or I almost didn't just because it was like, I don't want to spend the money. Like, it's going to be expensive. Because I always say I'm not going to go too crazy. And then I end up spending more than I wanted to. And I'm like, it's okay. It's just a show. And then I'm like, it gets closer. And I'm like, fuck that. Let's go.
Yeah, got to, man.
I'm not fucking leaving.
I've missed 1 year. 1 year since 2017. I think it was the first year I went. I missed one time since then. Even then, it may have been before that. No, 17, because I moved back here in 17.
Yeah.
So I've missed one Daytona since 2017, and I'm still mad about it.
Not bitter at all,
No, I'm very bitter. I'm not even gonna. I was
thinking about it a little bit today actually, as to whether or not I should vend with Fulvius or not. And I'm very torn because I do want to, but again, it's like we've mentioned before. It's cool, but then you're also tied to a table. It's can't just leave when I want.
See, that's why you have me.
Yeah, but if I wanted to just leave and go hang out somewhere at the hotel or whatever.
I'll man your table. I'll make sales for you, man. Come on.
Because I'm already sort of, if I do end up vending, then I'm already sort of trying to think in my head as far as how far in advance do I need to start getting inventory together, and of that, what inventory. And
but see, that's where the Fulvius analytics comes into play. Go through your top 15, 20 designs, the most that I've sold, and base it off of that. If you've only sold one or two of a certain
Oh
one,
yeah,
don't print
no, for
that
sure.
one, that type of deal.
But if I was,
know?
if I was going to do them in bulk, I wouldn't do them. I wouldn't digitally print them like I do now, where they're made to order. I would likely just go ahead and just get them screen printed in batches. And then definitely probably go ahead and start getting hats and stuff together. But that would be something that I'd probably wait to look into probably next in January, February, when it's a little slower for us.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. Just because I'm thinking, I'd have to get a banner, something like display stuff, just to make the everything look good and consistent. Totes and stuff for the actual inventory itself. I'd probably want to load it up on like stickers, not necessarily decals, but like actual stickers, like I used to, like I included in some of the original orders. If I get that sublimation printer, I'd start getting tumblers and things like that together, and there's a lot to it. Even right now, I need to print some like care instructions to include with orders, so people know sort of the best way to wash their stuff, so it can live longer and whatnot. So there's a lot going on.
I say go for it, man. I think it would be a hit because you don't. So here's my thought behind it. All right, I'm gonna sit up for this. All right. So this is the way I see it. You have a lot of people, families, whatever. They go to a reptile show, bring their kids, have a good time, whatever. A lot of times, those people just want to buy something. To say they went home, they bought this at the National Reptile Breeders Expo in Daytona, Florida. Okay. A lot of those people don't want to buy an animal or can't buy an animal. So what do? They visit Adeline's table, get a picture. They visit the book area, get a book. There's nobody doing like shirts and hats and shit like that. Some tables have their own shirts,
Right.
like Venom Life, but you can have this whole layout and menagerie of different shirts
Stuff.
that everybody, dude. I'm telling you, you would kill. You would kill. How many shirts did y'all sell when you went as the magazine? A ton, didn't you? Y'all vended at the magazine, dude. I say you were digging through that box all
trying
day.
to remember, what was it? Podcast shirts.
It was everything. It was like magazine shirts, podcast shirts,
podcast shirts, and then I think
network shirts.
Phil had some Nephris.
He had some Nephris. He had some Venom Exchange Radio shirts.
I know Billy had some. I don't know how Billy did with his. I don't know, but yeah, it's just a matter of like, do I want to commit to the whole thing?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think you would do really well.
Because I'd want to get. They make like mannequin things that you can hang.
Oh yeah.
Display the shirts. Like I'm thinking already, as far as like, if I did a booth, I'd need to start going ahead and start getting that stuff now, because some of that stuff ain't going to be cheap. And I don't necessarily want to. I don't want it to look like a yard sale. I want it to be. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. If that makes sense.
No, for sure.
I want it to look good.
But I think you need to decide sooner than later if you're going to.
Definitely.
That's the biggest thing, because you're right. And like I said, dude, I can be your right hand man. Just give me a badge and I'll I'll help you set up, man, the table while you go look around, whatever you need, man. We can load up my truck and with tables and all that. I got a 6-foot bed, so we can make it happen.
They have. The tables they provide, so you don't have to do that.
Oh, that's right. They have their own table. I forgot about that. But you'd have a lot of boxes.
I will say, I mean, the value of like Facebook Marketplace for that kind of stuff is overlooked.
Mhm.
You know, when we're looking at like laser engravers or pad printers for work currently, and we don't go and look at them new. The first place we go is Facebook Marketplace and see what people have, because we've been able to get some
Yeah.
good equipment for considerably cheaper, and it'd be barely used because someone got it, tried it for a little bit, didn't like it, and got rid of it. Um, you know, so when it comes to things like finding mannequin type deals to put um, shirts on for display, like that's the first place I would go is that. And I don't know. I need to sit down and sort of draw out the idea I have in my head for what I would do, because you also have like those, they're like metal grates almost. I don't know what exactly they're meant for. But people get those and like hangers and hang shirts from those and things like that. And, you know, pricing signage, and which a lot of that stuff is stuff that I can design in, you know, no time, and then print it at Staples or something and then have it. And then just, you know, it's just a matter of getting the list together and making it all cohesive and making it happen. So Mike said I should be charging $25 for my shirts. They're freaking awesome and unique. Thank
They
you,
are freaking
Mike.
awesome and unique.
I don't know. See, I charge 25 for like the 2XLs and up, because those do cost more. But I figured having the advantage of doing them myself, you know, direct, like I can make my shirts and stuff a little cheaper than what you would get in other places, and still have really decent margins on stuff. So I don't know. I don't.
That's the thing, man. That's why you are a good person. You're not doing this to make a bunch of money. Obviously, you have to cover your costs, get a little bit of overhead, you know, but the people that are charging, you know, 35, $40 for a freaking t-shirt, it's kind of insane, you know, like
Well, like bands do that currently, and I kind of understand why bands charge so
yeah,
much
I get
more
it
for
for
their
the
merch
bands.
now,
Yeah.
because they're just not making the money they were with album sales and stuff. But
Right.
like, I'm in a position where I can sell stuff for cheaper, because it's
Right.
like I have direct access to all the stuff, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it kills me too when I see shirts for $30 and then I get them and I see what kind of shirt they're printed on, and knowing like how much that shirt costs, and seeing hoodies that are $60 and being like, that's
No.
it's tough. Like at some point, I don't know. Like I know people will pay a premium for some things, but to me, it's just like at the end of the day, it's a hoodie. I know it's gonna get ashed on. It's gonna get it's gonna get put through a lot, because I wear my hoodies a lot, especially this time of year. Like they they get they get worn, you know.
But I think hoodies are where I am a little different. I will spend way too much money on like a really good quality hoodie. Like I'm not gonna lie, I love my hoodies. I have a million hoodies.
I do too.
I have so many hoodies.
I got this Carhartt one, dude. This thing's like ridiculously comfortable.
Oh yeah, dude.
You had one on the other night when you were here.
I've been rocking it all week
Uh.
at work, man. Yeah, I wear that thing every day, just about. I love it, man. I love Carhartt hoodies. I also really love Nike hoodies. I finally broke down and bought a nice Nike Packer hoodie this year. And
Oh,
man, dude, that thing is the bomb.
for what you paid for that, it better be comfortable. I'm
Yeah.
sure it was expensive shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not proud of that, but nonetheless,
Anything
I will pay good
for your
money for it.
Packers.
Yes, dude, I spent way too much money on Packer gear this year, man. It's just I wanted to go all out on some stuff, and yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But we're turning it around. It's looking like it might be a halfway decent season.
Yeah.
Just kicked the shit out of the Lions last week, so that was awesome.
Sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens as far as Daytona goes. I think it would definitely be good for getting, you know, the brand out there and having people more aware.
Yeah. And worst case, dude, just like as people are walking by, just like frisbee a business card at him. Ow, you know. Red,
Hey, Randy.
what's up, Bubba?
Yeah, it's it's cool. Snakes species in herpetoculture are just like sports teams. That's the way I look at it. Is people are all about their teams, man.
Yeah. And see, like that's it's funny you make that analogy because I'm weird in the fact that like I really don't, at least in public, I don't wear shirts or apparel of a specific species that I don't personally keep. I don't know, you know. Also, why I don't wear sports teams apparel that I am not a fan of. Like I don't wear Gamecock stuff because I don't watch college football. You know, not really a Gamecock fan. And you won't catch me dead in any Bears gear. So that's
It's like the band shirts. People wear band shirts for bands they just don't listen to.
yeah,
Like why? I don't.
yeah. I saw somebody. Man, I can't remember the band, but I saw some kid wearing like this old school band T-shirt. I cannot remember the band, but it was an old one, and it was like some 13-year-old kid. And I wanted to be like, "You listen to them? I don't think you do. I really don't."
Poser.
Poser, freaking poser.
Jake was gonna be that guy.
I didn't know. I didn't.
Poser.
I just closed it and shut my mouth and kept her moving. That was the day I bought this here table.
Like the one that you scared with the THN shirt on.
Up. We don't need to bring that up anymore, man. That was like,
You even listen to those guys, you poser?
oh, that was horrible.
I
God,
wish
that
I was there to see it. I'm so upset I didn't see that.
oh my God, dude.
How were you supposed to know, buddy? It's okay.
I felt like such a dick.
You know,
I just want to say hey to the
I
kids,
just want
you
to
know.
say thanks.
Yeah,
And I
you
paid
know.
dearly for it.
I did. I did. I'm just gonna next time I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. My but it's neither here nor there. We just should never talk about that again. Please.
It's gonna get brought up by somebody eventually. It's gonna.
Probably Skylar.
You're never gonna live it down. It's never gonna go
Dude,
away.
Skylar and Preston were in the corner just dying when that happened. It was
I believe it. And see Skylar giggling like a little girl, laughing like Arnie from Gilbert Grape.
yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing him this weekend. That's gonna be fun. Gonna be fun.
Well, have fun.
Oh well. It's not gonna be fun because I'm leaving at like 5 a.m. tomorrow. So
You already wake up then, anyways, don't you? And you're already like up and about.
No.
You're always
No.
bragging about how early you're up.
I have to get up because I'm supposed to clock into work at 6:30, but a lot of times I don't wake up till about 6:15. So.
You're that guy.
It's the perk of living like 5 minutes from work, bro.
Not me. I'm at work an hour early every day, at least. Every day.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy your job. Not all of us have that luxury.
I do.
So I don't like being at work. So it's a little less motivating to get up. You also don't have to be there at 6:30 in the fucking morning.
Sure don't. 9 to 5, son.
That is like one thing. Like I would rather my schedule than the 9 to 5 because I'm off at 3:00. You know, so I basically still have the entire day to deal with snakes and do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Give and take, give and take. But it does mean I'm tired literally all the time. So, but
I'm looking forward to the Francis Marion trip.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
I have never been up there, but I've always it's been on my list, my bucket list of at least local, semi-local herping, and I just not really knowing where to go necessarily. Like what not being familiar with that area really, other than just driving through it a couple times, many years ago. It's an awesome spot. It's a great area for herping and on the South Carolina coastal region.
I've never herped in the Francis Marion, but I've hunted in the Francis Marion, and I've driven like in the Francis Marion.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a very, very cool forest, very vast. It's funny, actually.
It's huge.
Yeah. Quick side note on that. When I got bit by the rattlesnake, I flew back to Charleston. I had to drive from Charleston to back to college, which is in Georgetown. That you basically go right past Francis Marion.
In the middle of nowhere, Georgetown.
Normally, my GPS, I take the highway. So obviously, one of my arms is incapacitated at this point. And for some reason, my GPS took me through the middle of Francis Marion National Forest in the middle of the night with nobody else around. And all I could think of was I'm going to hit a deer and I'm going to blow a tire or something. And I'm not going to be able to change the tire because I have one arm. And yeah, it sucked. It's not a good time. But yeah,
Blair Witch level stuff out there, man.
Yeah, man, you were getting freaked out in Hunt Club, man. I think you're gonna be a little freaked out in the Francis Marion.
I just kept expecting to see like, what is it, the lizard man or a skunk ape or something, come shooting out of the brush.
A woman in white.
Yeah. Is that one of the things I said? I was like, dude, what if we just looked over right there and there was just like a lady in a white gown just sitting there staring at us? We're like, why would you say that?
You literally just went, I would shit.
Yeah.
You were like, I would shit now.
I'd be gone, dude. Like, I don't know where I'm going, but I'd be out.
I would floor it and never go back.
Yeah. Definitely want to get out there again. Every year I say I'm going to go do more herping and I'm going to get out there more. I'm going to go do stuff. And it just doesn't happen.
I did a bit this year. I'm pretty happy with
you did good.
Amount. I feel like I didn't have a plethora of species per se. I didn't add any new ones. I don't think.
I mean, the dead pig, I guess, counts kind of, doesn't it?
I found them
kind of alive.
Yeah, I have found pigs in South Carolina before, so it wasn't.
Yeah, but it's been a really long time.
Yeah, it has been a very long time. So that was cool. But king snake, that was probably my highlight of this herping season was the king snake in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably my number one find this year because I also haven't found an eastern king since I was in high school, and that was here in Beaufort. And first 5 minutes of herping in Georgia, I managed to find one somehow.
That was wild. That there was a good bit of people in that area too, like not even in our group, but just people that were just hanging out and enjoying that park and looking at the the old structures and stuff, because it used to be some sort of township or something. And like in the same like center area of this whole like field, there's people walking around. There was like 8 of us, with at least half of that walking in this little like around this little centerpiece area, and then somehow there's just a king snake just chilling there. It's just, and then that canebrake, timber, whatever it is.
It's a canebrake.
It looked like a canebrake, but it was in timber country. It was this is odd. Yeah.
That part of Georgia, you would still call it timber?
I would expect to see more of that timber look in that area than the canebrake, but that canebrake did have me wondering, like, is it all a lie?
I don't know. I'm reading a rattlesnake book right now, and I'm into the horridus section of it, and he's talking about like as of now, even though most people disagree, they are the same thing. They're both horridus, but unwillingly we'll refer to them all as timbers, but we have canebrake phase and then timber phase, type of deal. So I don't. But from what I was reading, it seems like in that book, the canebrake is basically southeast, like kind of in general. It's the canebrake type or phase is southeast. It's when you get northern territory.
Because I've seen some pictures of some timbers from like North Georgia that were pitch black.
Dude, I found one here that was dark, really, really dark out there at the WMA, dude. Thing was like this dark brown color and
Yeah,
black,
but it
like
could
a
have just
black
been an
stripe.
older animal,
I mean, it was a big snake, yeah.
not like a
But I've seen.
melanistic type like we've seen with some of
Well,
the.
no. It's not. It wasn't like black, but there's definitely some variants. Um,
That was a good trip though. We found all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, it was a really good trip. I'm mad that I missed the first day of it. That will not happen this time around.
I'm trying. I don't know if we even really found anything that first day.
Guys
Well,
found a
there was that rough
from the
green.
lava.
Yeah, there was. There was.
You guys found racers, a black rat, a rough green, decays.
Yeah, ringnecks. A lot of ringnecks.
Oh, I didn't add a species. There's still an eastern rat, but black rats and Midlands waters or Midlands water snake. Those were firsts for me this year. Never seen anything but a yellow rat in the wild, and we managed to find a black rat. And then Skylar grabbed a Midlands water snake while we were out there. So that was awesome. So
I really want to go. We talked about it, earlier this year. Next year, I definitely want to hit up that little Edisto spot out in Lake Jacksonboro.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that place is. It's even if you don't find anything, like that place is just cool. It's like something out of freaking Jurassic Park. There's all those palms everywhere, and then there's like these just massive oaks. I guess not necessarily Jurassic Park. It's more like Avatar. I don't know. It's just a cool spot. Even if Katie just wanted to go there, not even to look for snakes, but just to go check it out, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go. It's just cool.
Yep.
And it doesn't look like much from the side, like from the road as you're driving by, but like, dude, the deeper you go,
tiny little parking area.
Well, there's like all these old canals and stuff too, because that used to be an area where like phosphate mining was a big thing. Because in South Carolina, especially on the coast, like up in that Charleston area, like phosphate mines were like a really big thing. Like that was a big part of the trade and stuff up there. And so they have all these canals that they dug to mine that stuff. And they're still there. And it was such a cool spot that I think if you went on the right day, and you got a nice cooler morning and you got out there early enough just after sunrise or at sunrise, like I think you would see some really neat stuff.
Eastern Diamondback.
Something. I don't know. It was wild. I don't know if it was just the day we went where we didn't really see anything herp wise, but like that place is Nerodia and Cottonmouth freaking central, I would think, just with the amount of swampiness parts of it. And it's just cool. And it just kept going. Like you follow this trail, man, and it just like it makes kind of just like a giant loop, but
yeah,
you see it from the road and you're like, that looks cool. And then you actually step back in there and it's like, it just keeps going and going and going and going and going.
There was one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was in Charleston that I went to several years ago. And it was really, caw.
Yeah. Never stopped there either. Driven by it about 1 million times. Never been.
Is insane, dude.
Should hit that up too.
It's huge. That's the picture that you put on the shirt.
Yeah,
the yellow rat. I took that in Caw.
Oh, okay.
That's where I found that. Just that place is very, very vast, very, very big. A really cool spot out there. But yeah, that's that. Both of those places are on my list this year to go back and check out, and then that place right there near Edisto or Jacksonboro, whatever. Definitely want to.
There's a nice WMA on Edisto too that me and Katie wandered around. That was pretty promising. Also massive, just huge.
Yeah.
So those are all kind of in line with one another, as far as that trip and highway and stuff. So
Yeah.
hit up the Serpentarium while we're out there too, because it's been a minute since I've been out there.
I wanted to go this year, but it just never happened, man.
We were planning to, but for whatever reason, the day we left Edisto, because me and Katie went there for the weekend, it was closed. It was like a Monday or something, and they're not usually open Mondays. So
It's more of a weekend thing.
I forget. Yeah, their hours are kind of weird, and they're seasonal too. In some of their hours, like they're closed for the winter, and then they open back up come spring in like May, I think. But I don't know. And then I'm like bound and determined to find a diamondback on Hunting Island. I've been told, give it up. It's never going to happen. But I see enough pictures posted by people that are out there that have no interest in snakes, posting pictures of them seeing them. So I'm like, these bastards are out there.
Oh, they're out there. There's no doubt in my mind.
Because I asked Tony about it. I was like, man, you ever seen any eastern diamondbacks on hunting? He's like, I've been going out there for like 10 plus years. He's like, I've never seen one. Because I remember when I worked out there, man, we'd have people come in with pictures on their phone, like, oh, look at what we saw on the trails. And I'd be like, y'all suck, man. I go out there looking around, I ain't seeing shit. And y'all just walk 2 feet on the trail, and there one is just chilling.
Yep.
I think that's another one where the weather kind of has to be just right. Like you gotta find the right window.
Yeah, because you gotta go like it's weather and it's the right time of year too, man. Because you can't just go out there in the middle of summer. It's too hot. Yeah. Nothing's gonna be going.
See, I don't know though, because
they become more nocturnal as it gets hotter. They're diurnal species, but during those when it gets really really hot, they hunker down, man, and wait for sundown. They become a little bit more nocturnal.
I don't know. I think you got a decent chance of seeing one on a hotter day than you would most other stuff. They seem to
I mean, most other stuff, yeah, but like I think it's more of like a midday, but it's it's the hottest part of the day, but it's like 85 to 90 type of deal. I'm talking like those 95 to 100-degree days. It's not going to happen. It's too hot at that point.
Just I gotta hunt some people down and pick their brains a little bit and be like, when you're seeing these things, what's the?
Like I said, man, this rattlesnake book, I was reading it.
Which one is it?
It's Rattlesnakes from North America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm reading that right now. And the first, it's not the first chapter, but the first, once they get into like species accounts, the first one is about the eastern diamondback, and that's what they were saying. Like they are a diurnal species, and they want to be out during the day, but during those super super hot days, it's not. It's just too hot. They're going to be hunkered down somewhere trying to get cool. They're going to be down in the burrow. So that's gotta hit it just right, and you also just got to be really fucking lucky, man. I mean, those rattlesnakes
that's one species that I think you got to see it in the wild to really understand just how regal those animals are. I remember the first time I saw one, it was like it's like seeing a tiger or something, dude. It's just an animal that just like demands respect, and you can't.
You've seen them in the wild?
I hadn't seen them necessarily in the wild, but my dad somehow ended up removing one from somebody's property or something, and we had it out, and
wow,
like it wasn't a massive one, but it wasn't little either, man. It was a decent sized animal. It's just like that thing is like that's a serious snake.
Yeah,
those things are just gnarly, man.
I know I've talked about it on here before, but when I tracked them out
I would love to do that.
It was so cool, man. Like because I only spotted one that day, but it was the first one that we tracked. And dude, it was just like so cool because you get to a spot and the tracker is just singing, man, just going off. So it's like, okay, spot the rattlesnake, spot the landmine. Where is it? And I found it coiled up under these palm fronds, man, or not like palm frond, but it was like a palm bush. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a palmetto tree, but it was palmetto bush, and it was just like curled up under there really tight, and it's just like that gives you, once you do something like that, it gives you a whole new perspective on how well these things actually hide and camouflage, and because
Yeah.
I promise you, if I didn't know for a fact that snake was around there somewhere,
Wouldn't have even
you
known it was
you would
there.
never ever would have known, because it didn't rattle, it didn't do nothing. It just sat there completely still, perfectly camouflaged. Like, you will not know.
Isn't it
Like,
funny you see species like that and you see like the pattern and the color and you're like, there's no way that's camouflage. But then you see them where they're supposed to be and they're camouflaged. It's like, oh, okay.
oh,
It makes
okay.
complete sense now. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Carry on.
sure. Yeah. No doubt, man. But that kind of like, that was going to bring me to, my next question for you, like what's your, herping bucket list this year? Because mine, like actually seeing in the wild, I really, of course, we're talking about them. I really want to target Eastern Diamondbacks in the wild. Even though I've seen them in the wild, I don't really count that as a herp find, because
Kind of cheating a little bit.
I was
Yeah.
tracking them. It doesn't count for me at all. So I really want to put some effort into finding a EDB naturally in 2024. Um, that's probably number one, and then coach whips are right up there with it. I really, really, really want to see a coach whip in the wild.
I gotta pee real quick and then I'll tell you.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, man, they're such just incredible animals, that deserve so much respect, man. Like, we take for granted the fact that we even have these rattlesnakes in our country, and then in a very small portion of our country. Anybody who's found them in the wild, man, count your blessings, dude. Like that's incredible. Um, so they're just awesome. But yeah, plan on doing a lot more field herping in 2024, man. I'm gonna try and make it a even bigger part of what I do. I did a lot this year. Luckily, I got very lucky in the fact that I got to do several trips. I went to Florida a couple times, Georgia, a lot around here. Found a lot of snakes, a lot of cool species. Yeah, so it's been it's been a good year of a lot of cool stuff, man. I got to add the black rat and all that. There he is.
Here I am.
So I was just babbling a little bit about field herping, but bucket list. Let's hear it.
Coral snakes.
I knew that was coming.
That's gonna be up there.
Would you say that's your number one? Like, to try and find?
That's gonna be that's always gonna be my number one. Forever and always. Obviously corns. I love seeing some corns. It's been really interesting having the rats and stuff now, because before, when I had just mice, I found yellow rats in the mouse house fairly regularly. Then I got the rats.
Yeah, like,
Haven't seen one since.
where are the
Really,
yellow rats, man? Because like I need some.
I don't know. It's just odd.
I need some Ladies Island yellows.
Even because I put some tin over by where I go and dump all the shavings and stuff, the Mount Ratmore. I put like 3 small sheets. I mean, they're not big, but 3 sheets over by that big pile area of used and gross shavings, thinking like, if I were a snake, this is probably where I'd be camped out, because it smells like rodents, it smells like food. So far, I've only found a racer under there, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Ladies Island corns, always a welcome sight. What else? It'd be cool to see more ringnecks around here. Like, finding the ones up in Athens was neat, but it would just be cool to see more here. I've only found the one. Didn't crash his bike like Jake. Very nice. Good job, Skylar.
Yeah, I texted Skylar. I was like, "Hey man, we're going live," and he said he was out riding with his homies. And yeah, if you didn't know, story behind that is I totally wrecked the shit out of Skylar's little pit bike back. God, I think it was January this year.
Jake was trying to take it off the sweet jumps.
Yeah, I was just doing some sick ass jumps, and totally slammed into the off ramp. So that was great.
Outside of like just our area, though, I mean, it'd be really cool to see, pygmies. I'm hoping if we do get down to Harry's area, I'd find some. That'd be really cool. That's a species that I also really like and one day want to keep.
Dude, they are abundant in Harry's area.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like that's the case
No
for a lot of those sort of North Florida guys. Is like those things are all over the place. So,
dude, the one we found when me and Preston went and visited Skylar back in May, the one we found there was awesome. That was a really cool spot. That was the first pygmy I'd seen in quite a while. But dude, yeah, that when I did a herp trip years and years ago, back in 2017 or 18, I don't remember. I went to Tallahassee area with some buddies, and dude, we found more pygmies than anything else. I'm telling you, we probably found 60 pygmies in a weekend. And it like got to the point to where we would hop out for a snake, be like, "All right, it's a pygmy. Let's keep driving," And but they're awesome. Some of my favorite rattlesnakes, man.
Yeah, there's just something about like the dwarf species and things that I'm just attracted to. I don't know why. Just interesting stuff, you know.
Yeah, they're awesome, man. Finding that one, the other month, man, was just
yeah, it's such a bummer.
Oh, that was heartbreaking. That was definitely the biggest pig.
Yeah, dude, when you sent me that picture, I was like, oh.
Dude, I'm talking, that thing was like, dude, it was like pushing almost 3 foot, man. I mean, just
that's
huge.
You know what sucks the most about that is an animal like a pygmy that big. You know that animal's been around a while,
dude. Yeah,
and to think, like that's the thing that sucks the most when I see anything that's road pizza, but especially like that monster timber canebrake. We saw that,
dude,
that one night. That monster copperhead.
Yeah,
That's what hurts the most is the fact it's like, man, this animal has fought for years just to be able to get to this size and be this big and do this well. And it in seconds it's gone.
Just gone for a reason that's not natural.
Right.
Like I guess it's become natural at this point, roadkill. But it's not like, that's not Mother Nature, man. It's one thing if it got eaten by an alligator or something like that, something else got it,
an
whatever.
owl or
an owl, whatever, but to get that big, just get taken out by a car, man, it's just it pisses you off, man.
The salt in that wound is then knowing that the person that hit it probably saw it on the road and went out of their way to hit it and make sure that it was like that copperhead, dude. That was such a freaking impressive animal to where that made you go, "Oh my god!"
That was the biggest copperhead I've ever seen in my life. That thing
it kills me, man. Like the things that those animals had to survive, like the years and winters and summers and hurricanes and like all these things against all odds. These animals have done everything in their power to get to that size. And it's just gone in an instant, like just gone. And for I don't necessarily say it's like it's a waste. I mean, to a degree, like
yeah, I mean it is.
I just it hurts, sucks.
Yeah, there's all there is to it, man. Like it blows. That's why, like anything that was hit by a car is always such a fucking bummer, man. You know, it's sad, man. You know, it kills me every single time, no matter what it is. You know, anything that's been hit by a car, you know, snake wise. I mean, any animal wise, I hate anything getting hit by a fucking car of all things. Especially herping, man. You know, especially when you find something you haven't seen in so long, like that pygmy, man. I mean,
Yeah.
number one, most impressive one I've seen anywhere. You know, I've seen a ton in
Mhm.
Florida. I've seen a handful here, but that was the first one I'd seen in like I think it was like 7 years. I
Yeah.
said something like that, and to find it that big and just literally just freshly dead.
Yeah.
A truck passed me, dude. This
Still
thing was not
squirming.
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's like, and then it also like it sucks because you have that thought of like, if I would have just gotten out here 5 minutes earlier, I could have
Yep.
been here. You know, that's the part that kills me the most because it wasn't 2 minutes that truck passed me that I found that thing dead.
Yep.
And I was like, if I would have gotten out here 5 minutes earlier, I could move this thing off the road. You know,
Yeah.
like that's probably, you know, it's obviously you can't blame yourself at all, but it's so many factors that it's like
Hindsight's 2020, my friend.
I could have prevented this. You know,
I mean, yeah, like if it had been me that had found that, I would be like super upset about it because that's a species that I have never seen around here.
yeah.
Never seen a dead one. Never seen a DOR. You know, it's never happened. I've been living here on Ladies Island now for almost 20 years and never seen a DOR. I don't even think I'm starting to wonder if they're even on the island here. I don't think they are. Um,
I don't
Never
know,
seen a
man.
DOR because I would think with the amount of road cruising that I've done out here, I would have expected to see some signs that they were here via dead ones on the road. But
I've never seen them other than like Ridgeland area. I've never seen one out there in Sheldon where I've taken you before. I've never seen one on, you know, the WMAs I go to. You know, I've only seen them out there towards Ridgeland. It's the only spot I've ever found them at. And they're there, you
yeah,
know, but
yeah,
they're hard to come across. I road cruised Hunt Club a lot ever since I found out where it was, and that was the only one I ever saw. And my God, it was heartbreaking, man. I yelled like loud when
just
I
screamed at the
like
sky like,
I literally
"What did I
no.
do wrong?"
I yelled. I like threw my hook on the ground. I was just like walking off. I was like, I can't deal with this, man. Like I was so pissed. I was
Jake
so
just
upset.
looks up the sky and why are you always picking on me?
Oh man.
There was like some I gotta find it. There's some meme that always made me crack me up.
Another one that really it got all of us is when I was down road cruising with Skylar back in May. So we found this freshly. It was a baby. It may have been a yearling, but it was a small little baby corn snake. That was
Mm.
That was DOR, man. And dude, it just ruined the night for all of us. You know, it was just like this little tiny thing, man. It's just
So it's this picture of these people staring at the sun. It's like a drawing, and it says it's a beautiful day to yell at God. One guy's saying, "What the fuck?" and the other one's saying, "Come out, we just want to talk." Faces, you coward. Every time I've seen that, it cracks me up. It's we just want to talk.
show your face, you coward.
I don't know. I don't know. That's pretty funny. Fortunately, I haven't seen too many dead corns out here. That little one that my dad came across a couple weeks ago has been doing great. Actually need to check. She may have shed today. She looked like she was about to. It's a good looking snake, dude. That male that I got back from you.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. My dad has one. I think it was a 2022. and his looks very similar, and it's just getting better and better. I mean, his is fat because he's overfeeding it, but this is just good looking snakes, dude.
Yeah, dude, they're killer. I just I gave you that one back because I love the mahogany look of the other one I got, man. Like I love that like almost brownish tinge it's
Hmm.
got, Like it's a nice snake.
That's sort of the top priority for next year on the breeding front is putting one of those F1s back to mom,
Use that male.
because that's been a long time coming. Just getting to the point to where I could do that, because I'm not
Yeah.
planning on pairing much as far as corns go. Right now, it's looking like it's just going to be those ladies island 2, and then the pied blood reds, and then that Tessera pair that's het like candy cane and het honey and something else, maybe motley. I don't know, but are you pulling it out?
No, actually, I
No.
had to. Well, I mean, no, I just fed today, so I don't want to mess with them too much. But for you were talking about Ladies Islands, I forgot. So the smaller one I have that better be a fucking female. Um,
We'll get it
is
right eventually. I mean,
yeah, eventually, since I actually taught you how to pop snakes this year. No, that one, that the younger female, she is very defensive when it comes to food, and she
yeah, mine are like that.
she'll usually take from tongs, but a lot of times she won't. So I drop it and let her feed, and I realized she was the only one I didn't check. So I just leaned over and checked real quick, and she ate it. So she's on fuzzies now, rocking and rolling.
Nice.
Yeah, everybody ate today.
I need to feed some this weekend.
Takes me forever, man, but they got a pretty good system down. So on that topic, I think KP was talking about it to somebody on some podcast. I don't remember if it was Corn Stars or Kluber and Kluber or what. But when it comes to feeding, do you have like a list and a number that you pull out, or do you just grab whatever and feed? Or
No, so like I don't usually feed everything at the same time on the same day. Like I have like the younger stuff that's in, all those babies, like I'll feed those on a different day. So I'll only pull out what I need is, for those. And then like I'll feed the two XR16 racks, which are usually, rat pups or something a little larger than that. So I'll go ahead and sort of pull those. But on the days where I am feeding the bulk of the colubrids and stuff, I'll take an index card and I'll just write, the sizes that I know I'll need, and then I'll just do like tally marks next to those sizes and then count it up and then go and pull what I need from that. Because sometimes I have made the mistake of pulling out too many, and then having to feed off extras. And what I need to be better about doing too is going through before I start counting and pulling food out, is looking to see who's in shed and who's not. Because there's been a couple times where I'm like counting and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna pull out this many, open up and like half the racks in shed, which I'll skip them feeding because I feel like it prolongs the whole process.
I feed them anyways.
Yeah, I'm weird about it. I don't know. I feel like it takes them twice as long to shed at that point because their body just decides to put that on pause and puts digestion at the forefront. So, uh, I don't know if they're in a cycle or they're like deep in blue, then I'll skip them. But that was the
So
mistake I made recently. Was I went and pulled a bunch of fuzzies and stuff, and then went and looked, and I'm like, half of you guys are in shed. Like, shit.
no, I feed them no matter what. So the way I do things is all the babies they feed on a separate day just because that's a lot more time consuming. So anything that I've produced gets fed on a different day. But the rest of the collection, everything gets fed all on the same day and knock it out. But what I do, I don't know if you can see this very well. I hope you're getting a reflection. I make a list And so I've got small pinkies and then large pinkies, and then I write down who gets what, and then I put each animal in there under the tab to show what's getting fed. You know, that way it's a lot easier. So there's the total number up top of
That
what I need
sounds
to pull out.
exhausting.
Oh, it's actually not bad once you get it done. So there's the total number that I have to pull out at the top and every animal that gets said item. So helps
Sure.
me keep track of things.
Yeah, why not?
It works really well for me, but that's just how I do things because I don't want to have. I used to be just like I'd go through and count. Okay, when I had 10, 20 snakes, it was easy. But now that I'm up to a whole lot more than that,
Yeah.
I just make a list now, and anytime I get something new, I add it to the section it needs to go to. Then I have the total number, and I update it every week because some stuff gets moved up. Sometimes, things I switch over things from, 1 week it'll get a small rat, 1 week it'll get a medium rat, especially the
Right.
pits, 1 week it'll get 2 extra large mice and then, chicks and all that. So I update it all the time, and then it makes it easy just to go through and see which numbers of what I need to pull out.
Yeah, and I mean this time of year too, obviously the stuff that's in cooling doesn't get fed, but I also sort of pull back on the yearlings and up that maybe there's some stuff that didn't go into cooling, which I do have some adults that I did not put down. That ghost Tessera girl that has bred for the last 2 years, I'm giving her the year off.
You didn't cool her anyways?
No, so I just let her get a little more weight to her, kind of plump her up a little bit. And then a pair of Bairds because I'm not planning on doing Bairds next year. Because I think all my females just need a year off, so I'm just gonna kick it on those. But like some of the stuff that's like year old, 2 year old, if it didn't go down, then I'll definitely cut back on food a little bit, not feed them as heavy. The rhinos and stuff this time of year, definitely take them off food for a couple weeks. Probably do the same with the persimmon. So really, the only thing that's getting fed consistently still, and that's depending on availability of pinkies and stuff via Smith Farms, is the this year's babies and the chondros, which the chondros I have an endless supply of rat pups and stuff, so they're covered, and they're not getting fed much anyways. So, and the baby rhinos, that's a little different because those are I'm still working rosies. We're still doing those until they decide to get their act together and start taking pinks. So,
Yeah.
but this time of year overall, the room and stuff in general is typically cooler than normal. If I have the heater off, obviously. So I think it's just overall that's a slower season that I think cutting back on food a bit is probably beneficial for them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it lets me load up the freezer, which is kind of the big point of putting a lot of the adults into brumation and stuff. Is just gives me time to sort of get the freezer filled up and stock up on things before we get into the upcoming season.
Yeah, I've definitely been feeding things a lot less recently. I've been more of on a every 2 weeks. Everything kind of gets fed now. And again, that's everything: babies, subadults, adults. Doesn't matter. I kind of keep everything on the same schedule. So more like a week and a half for the colubrids. Pythons are about every 3 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Except this female, I'm trying to put on some. I'm trying to get her some fat stores before I pair her up again. So yeah.
Yeah, it's something too that I've been doing if I am low on pinkies, is I'll cut like a hind leg off like at the hip of a fuzzy or something on the larger side that's sort of an equal mass size to like a pinky. That still has, the muscle proteins and calcium from bones and things like that. That's been kind of a nice alternative for like slower weeks with mice to where I can like it maintains the hatchlings and things until I can get a decent litter of pinkies and stuff from the mice. So
If you ever need any, just let me know. I stay stocked up on extra small pinks and large pinks. So if you ever need any, let me know. Then you can just replenish me whenever you.
Well, I did see what I need to do is start hammering the small stuff with food to get them up to the point to where they can take fuzzies, and then I'm good. Like once I get to that rat pink size, we're coasting because those rats are constantly putting litters out. But like my white mice, like my lab mice, like those have been really. I don't know what the deal is. Those have been real. I think my groups are too big right now, but those have been really touch and go the last couple weeks. And the ASFs, I mean, those have been doing good too. But I'm breeding those for Casey, so I don't really feed those unless I have something that's just not taking, and I'm trying it to see if the ASF maybe coaxes them into eating or not. But you know, for the most part, I don't feed off the ASF pinkies and fuzzies and stuff. And Casey needs particular sizes, so I try to get him to the sizes he needs them to be before I euthanize them and freeze them and things like that. But
so you're just freezing them for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm raising them and all that and stuff, and then periodically, if I have like a small litter that has like three pinkies, 4 pinkies in it, then I'll just take that, and it's like I'm not gonna raise up 3 or 4 pinkies. What's the point? So every now and then I'll snag some, but I don't know. I found those like for small stuff, those day old ASFs are still pretty big in comparison.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Even then, for what I would kind of need them for anyways, they're a little big. So
Amen. No doubt.
I need to go check on them tomorrow after these 2 nights of cold weather. I'm hoping I didn't lose anybody.
Yeah.
We will see. Got a busy day tomorrow.
I do too. Driving, then herping. So
you poor thing.
Yeah. Poor me.
Well,
on that note, we're at the 2-hour mark, and
witching hour.
I gotta be up super early, so I think we can call this one a night. It's been Huh? Oh, Marco.
Psych. I'm not frozen. I'm just messing with you. This is episode 205 of THP. I do that to Phil sometimes. It's a lot of fun.
That was good because you really looked frozen on the screen. I was like, oh, wow. Went through this whole thing.
This episode is brought to you by Steve Snaketuary's Venom Hot Sauce. Get the whole set. SteveSnaketuary.com. Grab them all. If you gotta just grab one, cottonmouth sauce all day long. That's the one. Get it.
But don't get just one though.
Don't get just one. Get all of them.
Get the whole set while you're at it, man. I mean, that's just
help Steve make people realize that cottonmouths do not chase people. Yes. You want to directly make an impact on the world. It's overall a net positive. Help Steve tell people that, because I think until the dawn of time, it could be like 2055 and we could have flying cars and all that bullshit, and people are still gonna be like, cottonmouths chased my uncle once. Like, this is how we combat that stupid myth. And I love the side note. I love the people that you tell them it's like that's not what happened, and they just will not come off that hill. They're like, yes, it did. It chased me.
Yeah, it did.
It chased me.
That's why I don't even argue it anymore. I'm just like, okay.
I just tell them, I'm like, did you ever stop to think that maybe you were between it and where it was wanting to go?
Or maybe, since you cornered it, maybe it stood its ground.
A wild concept.
Yeah, crazy.
I don't, whatever. It's neither here nor there. Help Steve out. Steve Snaketuary's Venom Hot Sauce, SteveSnaketuary.com, BlackBoxCages.com. I mean, come on, Rack Cages.
Oh,
they don't make bad products, and they have some of the best lead times around, if not the best. You buy a cage,
say the best.
You get it quickly. 2-week lead time, can't be beat. Don't know what the shipping situation is looking like for them currently with everything going on with the holidays and stuff. I can't imagine there's any like major delays there or anything, but That's not on BlackBox. That's on FedEx or UPS or whichever carrier they go through. Use code THN at checkout. Save yourself 10% off your order. Pick it up if you're near North Georgia. You can get all kinds of cool stuff. They got some new things coming down the pipeline, so be on the lookout for that. Facebook and Instagram. FullFeastApparel.com. THN listeners, use the code THN at checkout and get 15%. That is the exclusive code for listeners and viewers like you. Is there anything new coming down there? I have a couple ideas for some new designs. I'm trying to figure out kind of a decent release schedule for new stuff. Maybe once a quarter, once every other month. Put down some new stuff. I need to add the THP shirts and stuff to the website. THN shirts. Some other podcast related stuff. So slowly getting it all updated, but either way, fullfeastapparel.com. Get a shirt, get some hoodies. I do need to add some more hoodie designs to the availability. I am confident you'll be happy with whatever you get. So we will be back Monday night for Snakes and Stogies. I believe it's 187. It'll be good. We'll see you there. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight.
Bye.
Good night.